Hey everyone, welcome to Business Adventures. We have another episode here for you with a good friend of mine, Cass, the Realtor. I'm just going to say it like that, unless she wants to introduce her full name. Not just kidding. But she's, one of the greatest realtors here in Utah. She's going to share her knowledge. She's going to, just talk about the whole realtor as far as someone wanting to become a realtor. Then we also can talk about later on about the homes, the buying for the buyers, sellers. But we'll get to know more about her here. So I'm gonna have her go ahead and do her introduction.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be doing this today. This is my first podcast ever, so excited. If I mess up or pass out, just cut it out.
I know, right? I'll just keep recording.
Yeah, just keep recording. So I've been a realtor for about 2 years now, and I am a full-time realtor, so I do it full-time. Mm-hmm. I have a little boy who is almost 2 years old, okay, who keeps me on my toes, really. I just work all over, Salt Lake County, Utah County, Davis County. So really anywhere in Salt Lake, Park City as well. I'm basically everywhere.
And then you say your son, right?
Yes.
He's your little agent, your first little agent.
Yeah, he was my co-agent.
He's your co-agent?
Yeah. I started real estate. I went full-time. And then 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant with him. And I was freaking out. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm like, I need to go get a full-time job. I'm just going to quit. This is ridiculous. Because I was living off my savings to be able to make this happen. Yeah. And so I was just like, no, I can't do this. And my fiance's like, no, you're going to do it. Yeah. This is going to push you harder than you've ever been pushed before. You can't give up now. You've sacrificed so much to get to where you're at. Spent so much money getting licensed. Yeah. He's like, this is going to happen. You're going to do it. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So I worked really hard the first year, and I was pregnant the whole time. And, I was walking around town with a huge belly, opening houses, closing them, doing open houses, being super pregnant. So, he's been on the ride with me since
so he's a realtor. Just, he's been doing it since the beginning. Since
the beginning, he has seen everything. He's ready to go. He's molded. So when he gets older, he knows exactly what to do.
He's like, hey, you're a realtor. It's like you're born into that.
Exactly.
No, but that's good. I mean, I like what you said as far as like, it's like life happens, right? But you use that to push yourself,
right? To
go even harder to make. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna do this because I have a family. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to provide for them, right? And so I think as we have seen other people's life, and then you realize that could either have stopped you, and you could have like just been on a 9 to 5 or whatever, but that actually pushed you into.
And taking that step, I told myself, I'm like, you either make it or you don't. And you cannot not make it. Like, you need to go out there, you need to work really hard, because I was a first-time mom. That's my first baby. I didn't know how hard I needed to work. I didn't know what motherhood was going to be like, but all I knew was I'm going to have a baby and I need to provide for this baby. And that was my whole mindset throughout the whole time. I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this for him. And it really was a whole different type of motivation. I think when you become a parent, it's different, It's like you're not just working for yourself, you're working for this tiny other little human that you raise and, you provide for, you're everything to them. So that really was the ultimate thing, and it's a blessing, because I was like, this is going to be so hard to do. Looking back at it now, I was like, this was meant to happen. Like, he was meant to come into this world. I was meant to find out when I quit my job, was living off my savings, was going to make this happen to push me to do it.
At the right time. It's like you see it at the right time, at the right moment. Right. And and also like before I get to what inspired you, but I want to be able to like go back and. So you just took that leap, right? Mm-hmm. You were just like, I'm gonna quit. I have this life. I have the savings that I'm just gonna survive off, and you're pretty much like, it's on me now to just make it happen, right?
Right.
Because like you're like, there's, I guess in a way you might, and you can correct me, but like you're like, there's no going back. Right. Right.
Right. I was like, I'm going to make it. That's my only option. Like, I'm not going to fail. Like, I just told myself that, and I would wake up every day and I would tell myself that, like, you're going to make it. You're going to be fine. You're going to make it. You're going to be just fine. Mm-hmm. And I was around so when I quit my job and decided to do real estate, I was part of a team. And so I had some really good mentors too that were like, you need to put your heart and soul into this. So I just had a lot of good people around me, my fiance, my mentors being like, you can do this. There's so many people that have been in this situation, so many people that have sacrificed so much. Like, you're not the only person, you know, that's ever gone through this. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. There's so many people that have made it, so many people that have lived off their savings, have had children, have had to quit, you know, have had challenges. And so I'm like, okay, they can do it, I can do it, and I'm gonna do it. So
have you always been wanting to be a realtor? Is it just like, what kind of led you to that?
Like, so 2 reasons actually. So the first reason was I hated my job. And I was getting really sick of people telling me what to do. And everyone hates it, right? Like, you go to work and, I don't know, your boss tells you need to do something. And I'm like, well, why isn't this person doing it? Why do I have to do it? You know? But it was next level for me. Like, I would pick fights just to be able to, like, go home or be able to not be there because I hated it so much. I was so over it. I was like, this is not meant for me. Like, mentally, I was just hitting a point where I was just like, I want to do more and I want to be more, and, like, me working, filling other people's pockets, making other people rich, or like, you know, navigating their business for them the way that they want me to, it's just not for me. And so I hated it. Pick fights with people, you know, like my supervisor's like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm your supervisor. Like, this is your job. You need to do it. And I'm like, no, like, I don't want that, you know, I don't want that to be my life. So that was one of the reasons. And then the second reason is when I bought my first house, I had a family friend help us in the process. And I loved it. I just fell in love with it. I'm like, this is so much fun. Like, imagine just being your life, waking up, you know, like getting to go to beautiful houses, seeing them, helping someone, and just like the whole process that we went through and everything. Like, I fell in love with it. I'm like, it's just so different from anything else I've ever experienced. It's not your regular job that, you know, you go in, sit in an office and, you know.
It's like different, you know, like, like where you feel it's like a different, each time you sell a house or help a buyer, do you feel like it's about the same, or kind of, you know, each have their own?
It's completely different. Every experience is different. Some of them will be really smooth, really fast, you know, and sometimes you have to show 20 homes, like, and it can get a little more complicated, you know, because there's certain things that go into buying a home, right? You know, just like, look at a beautiful home, buy it. Right. No, there's inspection, you know, there's neighborhoods, there's the loan process, there's everything. So some are really easy and flawless, and some have more challenges, but it's different every time. And I really enjoy that.
That's really good. Geez, I really love that answer, you know. Because I hope that, you know, listeners and viewers can take that and understand, like, you know, that's your motivation, your inspiration of doing what you did, you know, becoming a realtor. So what was can you describe your process as far as, like, when you're like, okay, I'm going to be a realtor, describe, like, the testing, and then kind of from there also, like, you know, having to find, because I don't know how it works, right? Do you find like a brokerage or something? Yeah. Kind of like how those, you know, those steps to finally being able to sell your first home. Yeah,
of course. So it's, first step is obviously going to school for it. It's super easy, super fast. It's about, it took me about 6 months, but I think if you do it full time, it's like 7 weeks or something to do. And so really it just goes through everything that you need to know as a realtor, you know, ethically, and, you know, just school stuff. It's super easy. And then after you finish that, you take an exam, and it's 2 parts. So it's general real estate questions, and then there's the law part of real estate, which is like the Utah laws. And so I think together it was like 80 questions, so like 40 each. And I went to Stringham, which is a really good, well-known school here in Utah for real estate. And then after that, you know, if you pass your exam, you just get your fingerprints done, submit your application, and then in about a week, they send it to you, and they're like, okay, here's your license. Start looking around for brokerages. So as a realtor, you're an independent contractor. So you have a 1099, but you have to hang your license with a brokerage. A brokerage is essentially, you know, like the company that you work for. And so they're in place for liability reasons. Like if something goes wrong in a transaction, they're there to protect you and the client. So that's basically why you need to hang your license with the brokerage.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
And there's a broker at your office, and they're really great. They help you with any questions that you have. So they're essentially there to just kind of look over all the agents in the office. And so that's actually a really fun part right there, getting to know different brokers, brokerages, and just choosing the right fit for you.
And is there like an interview process with them, or is it just like, is it kind of like seeing what best fits for you?
Yeah. So you'll go in your interview, and different brokerages offer different things, right? Like some of them will be like, well, we have classes every week in our brokerages that helps with like lead generation, which means help you, generate leads and what you have to do. There's different ones, like for example, my brokerage, I'm with Engel and Volkers, and I'm actually with Park City Engel and Volkers.
Okay.
I used to be with Salt Lake, but I moved up there just because there's a lot more opportunity up there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's different, but there's a lot of opportunity, and so they'll offer like social media classes on what you have to do social media to market yourself. They also offer core classes, which are CA classes, which are classes that each realtor needs to take every like 2 years within that time frame to be able to renew their license. It's like continuing education. So really, it's just what fits best for you. And some don't, some do, some offer a lot of different things.
Yeah, which is good though, because I feel like it's able to continue with knowing like, okay, you're not just gonna however long your license is good for, because now it's like, oh hey, we'll help you continue to like renew it, continue to be here,
and then there's mentors, you got mentors like your broker, and then there's teams. If you are a new agent and you decide that you want to join a team, which acts more like they help you more in your first transactions to be able to get everything right, because you learn everything yourself. Like if you're your own agent, first time you go out and show a house, you do that all by yourself. The first time you write a contract, you do that all by yourself. So there's also teams that help, and a lot of new agents go that route. That's what I did, just to get the mentorship that I needed and to be able to do stuff right. So a lot of brokerages also have teams. So it's just kind of finding what works better for you.
No, that's really good. I mean, that sounds like a really great place to kind of start off as beginning, but also I feel like that would even later on for you as you're developing your skills, where you can be like, I'm going to be that person now that I can mentor someone and be like, hey, this is what I learned from my mentors, and then also tweak it to what makes you as a realtor,
Right.
So
right,
that's
definitely.
really,
It really is cool when, you give people advice. Like I've had a few realtors reach out to me and be like, what would you do in this situation? Or there was someone in my brokerage too. He was a newer agent, and I was already maybe like a year in, and I started when COVID and all the craziness hit, right? So I have a whole different level of the market and experience because I wasn't used to a regular market. It was like over asking, doing all this crazy stuff to contracts to be able to win offers. And so this one agent asked me, he's like, hey, I need your help with this like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it was bittersweet to be able to like help him and give him advice, and it was nice.
And that speaks for itself too, like knowing like how knowledgeable you are, and you've gotten since, cause you said how long have you been doing this?
About 2 years.
It's just, and I feel like it's how much you put into it, and that shows that you've been putting 100% since you started. So now it's like, your fellow realtors notice that and see that and be like, hey, I know Cass can like make sure she's leading me to the right way and teach me and stuff that I don't know. But I mean, and also I guess you started and what is it called when they just put you?
I was thrown into the wolves.
Yeah, that's so there's so many other words,
right.
But you know what I'm saying? Because like you had to experience the whole like COVID one, and now it's like now you're experiencing the one with the high interest rates.
Exactly, high interest rates, over asking. Like adding a bunch of stuff to the offer to be able, like waiving a bunch of stuff, like no inspection, all that stuff that's not in a normal market. So it was different, but that's just what I'm used to because that's what I've been doing since I've been in the industry. So it is nice though, because it pushed me to get, focus and get a really good experience and be able to do like everything I can to help a client out in getting the home that they want.
Wow. Do you remember the first home you sold?
Yeah, it was actually a piece of land.
What?
Mm-hmm. So it was for a lawyer and his husband. His husband's an architect, and they wanted a nice little piece of land up by the Capitol, actually.
Oh, wow.
And he was going to design the whole thing himself. And yeah, I was really excited. And it was a long process. It took me about 6 months for me to get my first sale. And do that land sale. And I was like, so excited. I'm like, this finally has happened because you put so much time into it, you know, and you don't know if it's going to work out at the end. Like, you send them properties, you go look at properties, you know, and it's a continuous repetition of the same thing until they say either, okay, you know, we're going to do this, or sometimes they're like, we just don't think it's the right time now. And then poof, they're gone. So it was really nice when it finally happened.
That's interesting. It's like, hey, I'm gonna sell my first home, but you sell like, you know, proper land, and you know, now you can, and then from there you sell other. I guess even that, I mean, just makes me think like, wow, you started from like selling like this land to like, okay, that was my first sell. Now I gotta, you know, sell homes, and you learning the whole process of like selling that land to now selling homes and all this other stuff, you know.
Right.
Jeez. Definitely. Oh my gosh. You've like done everything.
Well, it's a learning experience. Like I said, all of them are different. You know, not two houses are going to be the same. Not two transactions are going to be the same. Land, you know, home, mobile home. Everything is so different, which is what I love about real estate. It keeps things interesting for sure.
That's what was the first, like, what was one of the challenges, or, you know, like you say first, but challenges that you remember at when you first start off as a realtor?
I would say, you know, when you get your real estate license, you go in thinking you're going to make a ton of money. You know, you're like, yeah, I'm going to make so much money, because you see all these realtors that are like, I make $100,000 a year and I'm balling and all that stuff. And it's not like that. It's like you go and you're on your own, and you have to make people trust you, right? So, like, especially here in Utah, there's so many real estate agents. It's so competitive here. So it's like, what makes me different than all the other realtors, you know, that are willing to do the same thing for you? So I think that was a big challenge, is going into it thinking, I'm going to be boss, I'm going to be so successful, I'm going to kill it. And it starting off not like that at all. You have to literally... Can I swear on this?
Oh yeah, it's explicit. Sorry, okay. I gotta start saying that in the beginning.
You need to bust your ass, because if you don't work, you don't get paid. Like, it is totally up to you. Like, if you don't go knock on people's doors and be like, hey, I'm a realtor, no one's gonna know. If you don't go attend events, no one's gonna know who you are. It's all about networking. Getting yourself out there. And I'm a social person, but I'm not the type of person to put myself out there and be in your face and be like, hey, we're a realtor, you know, start conversations for no reason. That was also really hard, because everyone and their mom needs to know what you're doing. So everyone and their mom needs to know you're a realtor. And so just getting used to that, getting used to having conversations, bringing it up was a challenge for me, for sure.
And that's funny. So you're an introvert then? You're more of an introvert? Or you're like in the middle where you're like, you know, because I could say, like, I know people who are like quiet, but as soon as they get to know someone, then they're like, oh, you know, themselves. I'm more of an extrovert. That's why I do what I do, right? I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'll get embarrassed, and I like to network. I like to talk to everyone. But has that been like somewhat like a bit of a challenge for you? The way,
definitely,
you know, talking to. And not just like going door to door, but like, you know, talking when you're showing a house, and you're like, has that been like, you trying to be, you know, like talk to that person that you're selling the house to, like, well, this home, whatever, it has this, and how does that kind of?
I think it depends. So I think I'm in the middle, because when it comes to doing that, and, you know, I get to know my clients, I get to build a relationship with them, I know what they're looking for, I enjoy it, I love it, I want to be that person that they go to ask questions, right? It's more, I guess, social settings that I'm like, I don't like attention on me, I don't like to be put out there, I don't like, even social media, right? Like, social media is such a big platform right now, and it's so good for entrepreneurs because it's free, and everyone's on social media. I don't like social media. I struggle with social media. Like, I just don't like putting stuff out there, if that makes sense, you know? And so I've definitely learned to kind of crack my shell a little bit, you know, talk to more random people, just put myself out there a little bit more. Yeah. So I'm in the middle. It depends on certain situations, but I think being social, I'd rather be home, you know, like sitting down, reading a book. So that was really hard for me in the beginning. Yeah,
I think once, you know, have you said that there's so many realtors, is that, I mean, as I'm going to all these conferences and stuff like that, learning is that you have to be your social media for your realtor business. Like you have to, educate, you know, the clients, customers, but you also have to somewhat also to be a bit personal, right? Because if you're just like being educational, but they're not seeing you as a human, then they're like, well, who is, you know, yes, she's just trying to sell me something. But it's like, no, this is who I am as a person. Right. And then it is like, it's such a big work, you know, having to be on, you know, posting every day or every other day or however it is that you start, you know, your social media. Or maybe you do take a break because you're like trying to, recuperate and trying to see, okay, when I do come back, I'm going to be posting this and this and make it all about and being different from the other realtors that are out there. You know?
And I love that you brought that up because to me, that's really important. I never wanted just an Instagram, at least for me. And, you know, realtors have a different way they want to do it, which is totally fine. But for me, like you said, I wasn't just going to shove the fact that I'm a realtor down people's throat. I wanted them to get to know me because at the end of the day, we're all human, right? Yeah. Someone can connect with me simply because I'm a mom. Someone can connect with me simply because I'm Hispanic. And they don't know that if they don't see anything personal.
You're Hispanic? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not.
Okay, go ahead.
I get that a lot. No. So I wanted it to be more of a personal thing because these people are trusting you, right? They're trusting you with one of the biggest purchases of their lives. And I'm just human too. I'm not just here for a paycheck. I'm here to make sure that you trust me and I do what I need to do to get you this home. But also I care about you, you know? I think it's important. I'm not, again, just here to sell you a home and buy. It's keeping that relationship.
Yeah. And then, and with those relationships, I mean, have you received referrals or references from that, you know, building that experience for them and also building that relationship?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. My biggest clientele, I would say, is social media, even though I don't do good on social media. But the stuff that I do post, you know, like I said, everyone's on social media. They're going to see what you're doing. They're going to see what you're up to. And so I love social media for that aspect, and my business is on referrals. So if I do a good job with the client, you know, if I'm personable, do what's in their best interest, you know, get them the house that they want, referrals definitely come your way. And that's how the business goes, and that's how you know, build your business is reaching out to those people. And it's not just, here's your home, I sold it, bye. It's like holidays, you know, I'll send them stuff, I'll follow up with them, I'll be like, hey, how's the house? How are you? How's the new baby? Certain stuff, because that means a lot to them. When people ask me those questions, I'm like, oh, they care about me. They don't just care about my business. You know, they want to know about me, and it keeps me wanting to be in touch with them. Yeah,
no, that's really good. I really like that. Is there a key to success as a realtor, as being a realtor, or is it, you know, or is it just kind of, it can be any. Success happens different to everyone. You know, whatever.
Well, I would say there is one thing that I think is a major key to success, which would be dedication. Like, you need to dedicate yourself to something that you want to do. Like, when I first started, there were so many opinions, so many people, so many things being said, and I was like, I'm just going to start doing real estate part-time, you know, until I get the ball rolling and I figure out what to do. And once I get transactions, you know, I can quit my job. And again, those mentors that I had were like, no, if you want this, dive into it, do it, quit your job, dedicate yourself to this. Like, do you want it? Like, how badly do you want it? If you want it bad enough, you will quit your job and you will dedicate yourself to this. And I was like, whoa, hold on, but you don't get it. I have bills to pay. And they were like, we all have bills to pay. We were all here once upon a time, you know? And the reason that we succeeded is because we wanted it bad enough. And I was like, shoot, you know, you're probably right. So definitely, I think me just hitting it, head on and being dedicated to it and doing it all day long, calling people all day long, door knocking, doing embarrassing things to be able to get my name out there, definitely put a difference into my business. So I think just dedication.
Yeah.
How badly, ask yourself, how badly do you want it?
Because if you want it, then just you stop wasting. But no, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jeez. And those the ones that you can look back and be like, these people actually cared for me. Right.
Right.
Because the ones that are, I mean, another one or two, but the ones who are like, oh yeah, maybe it's not gonna work out for you. Don't do it. You everyone does it. This is just a phase or whatever it is.
Right.
And having those people are gonna be honest with you and be like, you know what, everyone, how you said, we have our own families. You have your family. How dedicated are you to this, and what are you going to do with it,
Yeah, and just seeing them be so successful, they were just telling me to tell me, right? They were like, we've been there. We know how this is. Everyone's gone through different shit in their lives, right? But it hasn't stopped us. And so them being so successful, I'm like, they sacrificed everything that they had. They dedicated this to real estate full time, and I'm like, and they're so successful, so I'm like, that must mean something, They're not just gonna tell me to quit my job and sacrifice everything, and with me being pregnant, they're not just gonna tell me that. So I really took it to heart, and I was like, they know what they're talking about. I just have to trust these people, which again could be really hard, but I was like, I have to do it.
Especially, I'm sure there were strangers, and you're like, what? How am I gonna let someone
but I just saw them live this amazing life, and have a bunch of investment properties, but they do work really hard, and it really is about working really, really hard to get to where you want to be.
Speaking of for you, as money comes in, do you reinvest in yourself? Kind of how how do you do as far as percentage wise? Not money numbers, but when it comes in, okay, what am I gonna do to kind of be my is it by going to taking different courses, attending conferences, or just being hey, I'm gonna pay some advertising or do this. So how is it that you use that?
So I will get paid, and then since I am an independent contractor, you have to put some money away for taxes. Your own taxes, or they will come for you. And then the rest I'll take a little bit and be like, what am I going to do for marketing? I'll send postcards out. I've done that before. And then again, social media is really big, and it's free, and we're really lucky because a lot of people pay for ads on social media, different agents, just kind of depends who you are. So I will do that. There are conferences I have yet to go to bigger, because some of them aren't here in Salt Lake. They're kind of big. And I don't have that much flexibility being a mom. Oh, yeah, true. It would be nice for me to be like, I'm going to go attend this in Denver and be back in 3 days. Bye. But I don't really have... that option. So I read a lot. I read a lot of books. Okay. I love entrepreneur books that just kind of put my mindset in a right place. And also a lot of mental health books, because like I said, in real estate, there's ups and there's downs, and you have to learn not to get yourself down. So I'll do stuff like that to kind of reinvest in myself and be like, okay, you got this. There's marketing and self-care, which I think is really, really important in the industry. So I'll do a little bit of both of those.
I really like that you brought that up, because it's, it's always the whole business side, the whole, doing my job better. But you don't always talk about the mental health part of it, right? Right. Because if you're not taking care of that, which is the most important one, then the rest of it doesn't really matter. Because, if you're not sane, or you start, kind of
you start losing
it, losing your shit, and you're completely going off, you're just weird and stuff, It's you're then why the fuck does it matter, all the other shit? Because you're not focusing on yourself. And it's something that it's myself, I'm trying to do that for myself. But hearing that from a realtor, someone that's they just, people might see an image, oh, they have it easy, they can just go in and sell a house. But it's like, no, there's a other part that you don't notice that happens. And it's good to share this now, so people who are entrepreneurs are planning to do that, know like, hey, maybe I should also start looking in health and taking care of my mental health, because that's going to be a big part later down the road.
Yeah. It's, a job that you just don't know what is going to happen sometimes. Again, everything's so different, and there are times where the market slows down and you have to stay in a good mindset, keep pushing yourself and be like, you know what, I'm gonna make it happen, it's gonna be okay. So there's a lot of mental health tips and tricks, and even like affirmations that I write, and I tell myself like, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna succeed, like it's just a bump in the road. Or when personal stuff happens in life, you just have to keep it going, because you're your own boss. If you're not mentally in a good headspace, you're just not going to succeed. And so you have to be able to balance everything out. No one's going to call you and be like, come to work. We need you at work. That's not going to happen. You have to get up yourself and commit, to working and getting out there and getting stuff done.
I love that. I freaking love that. It's funny. I made it explicit, but I don't even swear myself, because I used to swear so much that I told myself I wouldn't.
Really?
But I know there's like, guests that do you want to swear? I'm like, go at it, do your thing, But anywho.
Okay. I'm like, sometimes it comes out. But I've gotten better since I became a mom, because you have to watch what you say around kids, right? Right now, my son's like a little sponge. He kind of blabs still, and he says words. But I'm like, okay, this is good practice right now, because when he gets older, you can't just be like, shit, fuck, in front of your kid. And they'll say it.
Yeah. So my daughter, she's like, don't say that. Like, if I do slip up, and she's like, you can't say that around me.
Oh, that's
and I'm
good.
like, girl, chill. I know. I'm like, okay, toxica. I'm just kidding. I'm like, whatever. It's like, I respect her and stuff like that. But
that's great. That's a good quality for her.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, share your knowledge for like the buyers and sellers. What should buyers, and I don't know which one you want to start, buyers or sellers, but kind of like talk about the current market and see, what's benefits, like anything that they should be looking out for. Just any type of advice for like those.
I know, everyone's like, oh, it's not a good time to buy.
Yeah.
You know what? There's never a perfect time to buy. And home are investments. I truly believe you're never going to miss out on a home. Your home's never going to, disappear or screw you over, any of that. It's investing in yourself. And right now is a very good time for buyers, because the market has slowed down. And the thing that gets really difficult is the last 2 years, people have been really used to low interest rates, right? But we have to remember that that's not normal. The 2s, the 3s that we were in, that doesn't happen. That was once probably in a lifetime that's going to happen. And so people need to get back into that mindset of like, this is a regular market. Things have slowed down. There's more homes on the market. It's not going to be as competitive, because I think everyone kind of got in that frazzle dazzle mindset where it's like, oh, we need to buy right now because interest rates are so low. That's not normal. So we all need to take a step back and be like, okay, we're now in a normal market. Interest rates aren't the lowest, but they fluctuate every day. They have gone down, and right now there's no competition. You get to go look at a house, you get to take your time, you get to make decisions, and that's the way it should be. So right now you're not going to be paying $25,000 over asking. You get to go look at homes and decide calmly what you would like to buy. And there's so many benefits into, sellers are now paying closing costs, concessions, all that towards buyers. 2 years ago, that was not happening.
Correct.
You had to pay for your own home warranty. You had to pay for your own closing costs. And now that's an option again. So there's a lot of benefits right now to this market. And there's a lot of inventory, and you're not going to be stressed out.
Yeah.
I mean, you will be stressed out, right? But you're not going to be losing sleep over, do I need to make a decision on this house right now? So I would say it's a great time to buy right now.
Yeah.
And for sellers as well, again, we're shifting back to a normal market. Your house might be a couple days on the market, or it might not. There's some houses still going 2 days after being on the market, and some a little bit longer. So it's nice to have normal again.
Yeah.
I think people just need to kind of get used to that, because I hear a lot of things and people message me and it's a good time to buy, or interest rates going to go down, you know? And I'm like, interest rates fluctuate.
And it's also for, you want to, I mean, also for like those sellers not to get discouraged. Because I know some other neighborhoods here, like they did take a longer process, you know, time for them to sell. Mm-hmm. But is it like, how do you talk to those sellers and, you know, have them kind of reassure them that it's going to be okay, you know?
Yeah. Again, just going back to the fact that these last 2 years have been crazy and it's something that's not normal. If you look back before, you know, 2-3 years ago, houses were on the market for a week, 2 weeks, you know, and that's normal. I just think everyone's kind of in that COVID mindset of houses going after one day being listed on the market. And so I want people to not get discouraged by that. Because again, that's not normal. COVID doesn't happen every year, you know, everything that's happened in the market was out of the ordinary. So just letting them know this is normal. You know, your house will sell, and doing everything we can to make sure it's priced right, you know, holding open houses. So just making them understand, like, hey, this is normal. Yeah. You know, your house will sell. Yeah. Might take a little bit longer, but this is where we're at now.
Yeah. Kind of like, because I've been through where back then sold my house and it sold, I think, in like 2 to 3 weeks back in 2019 or 2019. To then like seeing everyone talk about like the whole process, the house would be gone faster. Now takes a little bit longer, but no, I think that's really good.
Yeah,
good
if you look back, that was the normal. You know, people just aren't used to it, and we have to shift back and be like, hey, this is normal. Things have slowed down, but this is how it was before. You know, that 2019 to 2022 crutch was. Yeah, you know.
Anything else that you want to share to the sellers or to the buyers? Anything that you want to leave them with and being like, well, you know, besides like whatever else, you know, you currently just shared, but like kind of.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't think they're capable of buying homes, especially I would say with the Hispanic community. Not a lot of people are educated and know that there's a lot of programs, there's a lot of stuff you can do to repair your credit, and there's a lot of steps you can take to make it happen. So I just want to say, if you're considering buying or selling a home, look into it, do your homework, research, make sure it's the right thing for you, but you'd be surprised how easily you can qualify for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's also, you know, when you mentioned Hispanic community, I feel like we are sometimes get discouraged on buying a home because we don't know where to start. Right. And because that's kind of like where it ends, right? You're just like, well, I'm not going to go because I'm either scared of asking someone, but then also like maybe I'm not fit for a home.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and lack of education. Yeah. They're just not educated in the process. They're not educated on what it takes. A lot of people are, you know, think banks scared, like loans, you know, I grew up like that. You know, my mom was always like, debt is bad for you. Don't get into debt. Like, don't have credit cards, you know, and I'm like, looking back, that's all I knew until I was 18. You needed credit to buy a car. Yeah. You needed credit to, you know, qualify for an apartment. And I was like, no, that's not right. I think the way I was taught and the way that certain people grow up sometimes is not exactly what it really is. And so I have tried to really focus on just educating people, explaining to people. And like I said, you'd be surprised who can qualify for buying homes and get a lot of assistance. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. What is something that you want to leave to the entrepreneurs, like, and this can be, you know, entrepreneurs, but also realtors, just kind of like what's, you know, that, any, like, this is my motto, or this is Kasandra, like, you know, just want to leave it off as, like.
I would say work hard, but also work smart. Okay. You know, take your time, really invest in whatever you're trying to do, and don't be afraid to like make it happen. There are a lot of challenges in the world, and not everyone has an easy road to success. It can be really hard sometimes, and sometimes you want to give up. But in your heart, if you truly think it's worth it, it'll work out. Awesome.
And for everyone that's listening in and either listening or viewing this on YouTube and all the social media, where can they find you? What, you know, this is your time, you know, how the youngins say, to plug in, you know,
to follow me,
to follow at, you know, this is where, you know,
yeah. So my Instagram is just Cass Realtor, and then my Facebook is just Kasandra Martinez. I don't have a professional one. I just kind of use my personal one. And those are the two big social media platforms that I use. Okay. Can I leave my number on here?
Yeah, you can leave whatever you...
801-347-8210. Just shoot me a text or give me a call. I'm more than happy to meet up and chat about your options. And I also speak Spanish. If anyone needs...
I'm shocked on that. So I'm just kidding. It's funny though, because you're saying your number, you're like, can I leave my number? Do you listen to the Mexican radio when they're like, numero 801-999-9999, and then they have a conversation, like, and then in the middle of it, they're like, 801-999, and I'm just like, bro, like, I get it, I got your number, you know. Anyways, we're not gonna do that, but just make sure you got her number, you know, and then also share it and stuff like that. But, do you have anything else that you wanna?
No, I think we've covered it all.
No, thank you for coming. I appreciate your time. I appreciate, you know, being so knowledgeable and sharing what you did. I hope this is going to continue helping people and realtors, entrepreneurs, and also the home buyers and sellers, you know, where they can kind of just get that small glimpse and knowing, hey, you're good. I got you covered. And also, if they have any other questions, they can reach out to you. And,
yeah. Not just real estate. I'm here for mentorship as well. So if anyone wants to get into real estate or has any questions and don't know where to start, just hit me up. I got you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.